won't make it. I win.
One of the hardest parts about success is the waiting period. The time that it takes to be able to achieve your so-called harvest. As I was thinking about the things that were happening to me this week, I couldn't help but think of Galatians, and specifically Galatians 6:9, which says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This is not just in reference to doing good, but all actions that bear fruit are considered to be good. Sometimes you're building a business, sometimes you're building income, and sometimes you're building other people. And it's always the work that you put into it, or the working out, so to speak, in building patience, or building somebody into the position that they need to be, or building trust between a relationship. That is, once again, feels like it's working out. You're sweating, you're working hard, and you just don't see the results. So what kind of things can we do this? How can we make this applicable? Well, the one thing that I'll tell you is that think about your past and think about all of the moments where you should have stopped, but you didn't stop, and you had that breakthrough. Because there's plenty of people who have been prospecting for gold, and they stop at the wrong time, right at that breakthrough. And then somebody comes along and digs for 2 seconds, and the next thing you know, they get it. Listen, success is predictable. There's a law of average and there's a law of large numbers when it comes down to it. If I know that I have a 1% chance of making something happen, then if I do it 100 times, right, then I'll hit that 1%. Those are not good numbers, by the way. But still, we want to try to be able to have predictable success. The other part of it is the bigger the harvest you're expecting, or the bigger plans that you have, the further along it's going to take, the more time it's going to take, the more frustration it's going to take, the more people it's going to take, and the more actions. So you have two choices. You can accomplish something small in little moderations, which if you're a go-getter, if you're a leader, if you want to accomplish something that really doesn't work, or you can go big. And you can actually understand that it's going to take this really hard work to be able to make it there. The bigger the harvest that God is preparing for you, the longer the season of the growth will take. But there's signs to be able to see if we can have this predictable success. If I'm going to prepare for a race that only happens once a year, then I'm going to track myself doing that race as a simulation to be able to see if I'm improving on my time. If I want to see if I want to be that top, producer in let's say insurance, or a salesperson in just any industry, or maybe if I want to lead people into a positive direction, you got to notice the small bits and pieces that move towards that positive direction. You need to celebrate those wins.
Yes.
If you end up focusing on all of the hard work and all of the problems and the potential of everything going wrong, and the worst case scenario, you're going to end up with so much stress in your stomach, in your heart, and in your head that you're not going to be able to move. And that's not faith, right? So the opposite of faith is fear. That's what I tell my daughter all the time. I ask her, what's the opposite of faith? And she goes, fear. Are you at a sense of fear? Yes, I am. Well, let's get you to a state of faith. It's simply focusing on outcomes. What can I do to be able to make this happen? Am I doing everything that I can to be able to make this happen? There should be some kind of assurance in that waiting period or that waiting season. Also know this, you're always working on something. You're either working on your patience, you're working on your kindness, you're working on your ability to lead, you're working on building a business, a relationship, but those aren't wasted seasons. Those are actually training camps for your faith, for your patience, and for your character. You have to be a certain type of person in order to achieve that big goal and dream. Otherwise, you'll lose it the instant that you get it, or you'll end up right back in a worse circumstance. There's a reason that you're going through what you're going through. That's what I believe. I believe things happen on purpose and for a reason. Sometimes people or things escape from your life. You lose a job, you lose an opportunity, you lose a chance of making income,
Oh,
and
no,
then
not
something
again.
else comes along that doesn't seem like it's as good. Well, two things can happen. Maybe you're supposed to fight for that relationship. Maybe you're supposed to constantly contact that person and just show undying love for that person over and over and over again. Maybe you're the reason of the breakthrough. Is there power in that? Of course there is. Do you want to be that power? I do. I want to be able to positively influence anybody, anytime, anywhere. It's one of my major goals. Listen, every day you stay the course. It's like planting another seed, growing another crop in preparation for that harvest. The size of the seed, how well you take care of that seed, how much water it gets, how much sun it gets, what kind of soil you're putting that seed in is going to estimate the harvest. But you have to keep on pushing. You're going to need help. So don't drop the plow, so to speak. Don't stop sowing and keep on moving forward. Because just like we said at the beginning, Galatians 6:9 reminds us to let us not become weary in doing good at the proper time, but we'll reap a harvest if we do not give up. Thank you very much. God bless. We're going to do a much longer piece this week on this, so I hope you guys look forward to it. Thank you very much. Amen.